What's going on, guys? I'm here today with Jeff Wallace. Thank you, Jeff, for coming in today. I appreciate all your time. I know you're a super busy guy, and thank you for your time. I appreciate you. Yeah, thank you so much. And today, I'm going to be your host, Bruno Freitas. That's right. And I'm going to be talking with Jeff and just going deep into your world, right? People are going to be asking, okay, what is Jeff, what he does. So talk to me, Jeff. Where does your story start here in the Bay Area?
So, okay, in the Bay Area, I moved out here in 1990 to go to grad school. I was doing an MBA, which I did at Berkeley. I thought I'd be here for 2 years, and I'm originally from the East Coast. I thought I'd be back there. But I stayed. I enjoyed the Bay Area lifestyle, I guess, and living out here for 2 years during school. Got a job in San Francisco, stayed there for about 4+ years, and then decided to go entrepreneurial. And I've been on a very entrepreneurial, serial entrepreneurial journey, like doing different businesses throughout the last, I guess, since 95.
Wow.
Yeah. Since
95.
Yeah.
So the other day we were talking, and then you said that you work with someone that everyone has their product today. Who was that guy?
I've had the amazing fortune during my journey to work with both of the someones from Apple, both Steves, as I would call it. That's my fun fact. I talk about meeting the Steves. Back in the late 90s, one of my businesses was a software business focused on education, remote tutoring, like we do today over Zoom.
Right.
I mean, but back then it was not quite nearly what it is today. And I got the opportunity to work with Apple by getting a meeting with Steve Jobs and at the time another one of their senior executives until fairly recently, Phil Schiller. He was the head of all products. And then fast forward into the 2015, 2016 timeframe, I got onto the speaking circuit around technology and startup world, the stuff that I've been heavily involved in. And I've gotten to speak on the speaking circuit a couple times with Steve Wozniak as my kind of, we got to share a stage and some time together. Yeah, really unbelievable. Like I kind of pinch myself to think that I've gotten to work with both those guys because obviously they're both incredibly iconic in the tech world.
They are very well-known worldwide. Everyone knows them, and some people does have their products. Some of them might be watching this video on their iPhone.
I am certain they are. Absolutely.
And so as you worked towards technology in this industry, based on your background today, so it feels like that you saw an opportunity of helping other people into this new world of technology and how they can get educated and how they can get actually connect with the right people, right? So you create a business. Why don't you just share a little bit about what you created?
Yeah, I got pulled back into the corporate life for a couple years in 2011 to 2013. And I decided at the end of that period that I just missed my startup world. And that's what I had been doing as an entrepreneur. But I decided at that time when I left the corporate job in 2013, 2014, by that time, I decided, maybe I should just help other entrepreneurs.
That's right.
And I had reached a point in my career where I was like, I think I can be more helpful to other entrepreneurs and just go do my own another entrepreneurial thing. And so I became a co-founder with several partners of my first startup accelerator, which is based here in Berkeley. And then in 2018, we started a virtual accelerator to provide the same kinds of acceleration services, but to founders not in the United States.
So right before COVID, you came with a really good idea of, you know what, let's help people that's outside of this country to have access.
Exactly. And it was interesting because we launched it in 2019. We partnered with UC Berkeley, actually.
Great.
UC Berkeley licensed all of our technology and launched a Spanish language version across Latin America of Silicon Valley in your pocket.
Gracias.
De nada. And so that was really humbling and exciting for us. And then we didn't have a lot of competition in the 2019 time, pre-COVID, right? Because everyone had their accelerators, but they were mostly physical co-working spaces, so people would come into the offices and have a routine schedule. Ours was very different. It was virtual and self-paced, where it was like video on demand and group office hours over Zoom, so it was all very virtual. And then in 2020, when COVID hit, everybody else was forced to virtualize. And so we got a lot more competition that entered into the market with all the accelerators virtualizing. And so we kind of shifted gears from marketing to individual entrepreneurs and founders around the world to marketing to governments, universities, other accelerators in other locations who wanted to have some kind of bridge or connection of sorts to Silicon Valley.
That's so good. And I know that, and I wanted to share the name of the company. I know the idea came from like actual cell phone, right? So it's like, yeah, I know you already told me, but like, to the people that's gonna be listening to this, like, explain why the name came and where the name came from and why.
Absolutely. So I was sitting in our co-working space of my first accelerator, and I met a founder from South Africa. He's an amazingly nice, great entrepreneur. I really just kind of had a great click with him. It was the first time we were meeting, and I wanted him to have been a little more advanced in his business than where he was, because I thought at that moment I could have been more helpful to him if he was a little further along.
Right.
And so I actually pulled my mobile phone out like this. And I said to him, if you have one of these, it's kind of like having Silicon Valley in your pocket.
Wow.
Wherever you are in the world, if you're connected, you can access the techniques, methodologies, et cetera, that we use here.
Right.
And between the two of us, we ultimately decided he's going to put his business on the back burner, and he and I co-founded, and then we brought in another colleague of mine as a third co-founder of Silicon Valley in Your Pocket, and we created a virtual accelerator to help founders exactly like him to grow and foster their businesses. And he was an immense part of getting that going, because he was the use case. He was the iconic person who was going to benefit from.
So basically, you already validated right there that that's going to work. As long as if someone has a cell phone, access to internet, that's it, right?
You can access all of our materials from a cell phone. I'm not going to say it wouldn't be better on a laptop, a bigger screen, but you can access everything from any connected device anywhere in the world. And now, here we are about 5 years in. We've worked with about 2,300 companies from across 40 different countries.
Wow.
So it's been an amazing journey. I wish I could say the numbers were much bigger, but we're proud of what we've done, but we think we have a lot more founders to go.
Like being able to break barriers, like you're able to just go across the border in this way and just like help people that's really, there's a lot of smart people besides the US. The US does have a lot of smart people, but like every country, even though it could be a third world country, like I'm from Brazil, and I know and I met so many intelligent people that if they had access to something like this, they could really turn out not only their lives, but like the whole region where they live from. Yeah. So I really admire you for this. Very impressive, and thank you. Thank you for creating such a accessible tool. So now that you have this established, what is the goal and what's the vision of this business?
The goal is really to expand our reach. There's a lot of larger competitors in our space, very well-known names in the tech acceleration space, like Y Combinator is a big name, 500 startups, Plug and Play, Techstars. These are big, big names. And we respect what they do, right? Anyone who's trying to help foster and grow startups around the world, we're thrilled with, because that's ultimately, we think that's what everybody should have, that opportunity. And so our goal is to figure out how to better compete in that world where there are much deeper pocketed competitors with great brand names. But we think we're doing well, and we're just continuing to plug away. And right now we've got programs going on in Eastern Europe, in Asia.
Nice.
So we're always having different programs going on at all times, and just expanding the visibility of what we're doing and expanding to more founders.
That's so great, Jeff. And I know you're the type of guy that you're like a hands-on. We met almost a year ago, or maybe a little over a year, I don't know. And then we kept in touch, and I helped you with some stuff, and I'm still working with you. But every time that I need it, you just like, yeah, Bruno, let's talk. Let's do it, right? And I like that. A lot of the entrepreneur people like me, like I'm a guy that's running, six businesses at the same time. Don't have access to people like you, right? And then when you put yourself available to others, like, of course, you have your business where people can go sign up and they can pay to have access to that. But like also you're the type of person that like is really looking for those don't have access as like so many people, right? And that really admires me, and it helps me as a human being that came from a different country to this country. So I understand there's good people out here that really wants to help other people grow and succeed. Yeah. So thank you for that. And the last question before we finish is like, if someone today has a business idea and they came up to you, hey, Jeff, I have this great business idea, and they want to start something. They want to like, where can I get money? They don't know. They know how to build something. They have the software engineering background, or they even don't have a software engineering background, but they know how to build things. Sure. And they have the brilliant idea. They have all the research done. They come to you. What is it that you're expecting for someone to like look at him like, I'm going to help you. Let's connect you to the right people. What is it that you're looking for? Yeah, I'm going to answer that. I want to take a little step back to just address why I do what I do. At least for my own self, my rationale to make myself available to founders. I don't know where the next best ideas and the next big idea is going to come from. So if someone reaches out to me and says, hey, can you help me and listen to my idea?
I feel like maybe that's the next big idea. I want to listen. That's one reason. The second reason is I was an up-and-coming entrepreneur early on in my entrepreneurial career,
right.
and I wanted to create something and be somebody that I wished existed for me back then.
Wow.
And so that's just the truth of it. I just want to be for other entrepreneurs. Now to your question, what do we do? So literally a week ago, I had lunch with an entrepreneur. It was the second time I'd met with them. They're local here. And they said, so would you, how can you help us move forward? And I said, well, first step is I'm going to ask you to self-assess. I'm going to give you a series of questions. I want you to go through my questionnaire, and I'm going to give you the report that shows you your self-assessment. And then if you're interested, I can get that same information to investors, myself and others like me who look at deals like this all the time or business opportunities like this, and we'll assess it. And so we actually have a report. In fact, their report got emailed out this morning to them. And now I'm going to take a review of it myself and then give them a third-party assessment. And what we often find is when you self-assess how good do you think you are ready for, mostly it's around how ready are you to sit in front of prospective investors and try to pitch your deal. Mostly what we see is they're ranking themselves somewhere between 40 and 200% above what others do. So you think you're at 75%, we think you're at 35%.
Wow.
That is kind of a normal-ish range of how often or how well people rate themselves versus how others do. And that's an important thing to know.
Wow.
It's like me looking in the mirror and seeing a young, really super muscular, great-looking guy. That is not what the rest of the world is seeing. I see me differently, right? And it's important to know that difference and then figure out how to bridge the gap. So we actually provide reports and information on here's where the differences are. Sometimes they'll rate themselves around the same as someone else. Sometimes they'll rate themselves much higher. And it's in those instances where we say, here's what we think you should do to improve and reduce the gap between where you see you and where someone else sees you. And here's tools to do that. We provide all of that back to them. So that would be the first step is go through a self-assessment. It's available at our SiliconValleyInYourPocket.com website. You can just click. It's free.
Great.
You do your own self-assessment. You get a report back. If you're then interested, we can have third-party people take a look at it and then show you that we call it the cognitive dissonance, how you see yourself versus how others see yourself.
What's the biggest meat that people look at this and like, oh no, I need this much money. Like, what is the biggest thing they ever heard where it's like, it's impossible for me to go through with this business just because I don't have, is it the money? Is it like, what's the biggest meat that you see in it where it's like, yeah, you're taking this wrong?
I think most founders, and I think I was the same early on in my entrepreneurial career, I think they are mistaken that the thing they need is money. Most founders will come to me and say, I say, what do you really need to move this forward? They go, $500,000. I go, yeah, okay, let's pretend you had $500,000. What do you do? The reality is most startups and founders don't do enough customer discovery. How do you really know there's a problem that needs a solution? You think you have a solution, but is it solving anything that anyone cares about solving and is willing to pay for? I know the statistics of this market very well. 42% of startup failures fail. 42% of failures are because there's not actually a product market fit.
Wow.
Now trust me, 0% of those founders thought that. But 42% of startup failures...
They all thought like, my idea is great and everyone's going to buy it.
Absolutely.
Wow.
Raising capital is like the third or fourth cause of startup failures. It's not the first, second, or third, really. It's down the line.
So what it shows is money is not really the problem here.
If your idea is a good idea, that you validate that people have a problem that my idea is going to solve, I can do that profitably, and you've tested that, built up a little traction, an important thing for founders to do. If you've proven it, you've product market fit validated it, right? That there's a product market fit. There's a problem, this solution solves it, and I can do it repeatedly and scalable.
And it's scalable, yeah.
If you came to an investor with that, there's money.
Yeah.
Most people come to the investors and say, I have this idea. I think everybody needs this.
Yes.
How do you know? I just believe that. Did you talk to people? So customer discovery, first thing. In fact, we're building a fund where we'll put in a little bit of money to a founder if we like their idea well enough and say, go do customer discovery. Come back and go interview 100 prospective customers and tell us what they say. Let's see the report. And we have templates and toolkits that we provide them so they don't have to figure that out. And we'll work alongside them to help them do that. If that result is good, we'll give more money and we'll say, now let's go start expanding the quality of your team, mostly through advisors. We'll help bring them some really, really incredibly good, credible industry advisors. And because the two biggest causes of failure, product market fit, which I mentioned, team, the team execution capability and credibility.
So that shows how important it is for you to have a system in place, right? And not only a system in place, but having a family, not a family, what I'm trying to say here, have a culture, there you go. Have a culture established based on like, what's the vision of this company? Where is everyone speaking the same language towards like the plan?
Exactly.
Right? That's what we have here in this business. It's like, you ask everyone, what's our mission? What's our mission?
We call it our North Star. Is everybody walking towards the same North Star, following that same vision? Exactly.
So it's like, if we ask anybody in our business, like, what's our mission?
They know it.
They know it. Like, what's our vision? Our vision is to build a million dreams. So like they'll tell you a million dreams mean a million projects, right? That's the goal.
Yeah.
Right. And the language is so important that it's established early on, so that way people don't create not unreasonable expectations of the business. Like, listen, we're going to Mars. Well, but we could stop by the moon. Like, no. We're going to Mars, and that's it. Like, we're not doing exactly. So a lot of people think that their ideas into the business could do, just add on into the business. Yes, that's great, but again, the vision is to go to one point, so we got to stick with it. And a lot of CEOs does get distracted throughout the road, and they're like, oh, I like this. Oh, someone showed me that someone's making a lot of money with this. Why not just let me try this? Meanwhile, right? But if you focus, and I know you can get there. I've been in so many places, but the more you focus towards one direction, you're gonna get it. Well, Jeff, thank you. You're the man. Appreciate for all of you guys watching online. Silicon Valley in your pocket. This is the guy right here, helping over 2,000 people already with this system so far, and it's like you can be the next one. If you have a great idea, if you feel like you have something special, please check them out. Go there. I am one of the members now, so
Exactly.
and it's like I really like everything that I've seen so far.
A lot of free resources too.
Yeah,
There's we're not hitting you up for a credit card straight out of the gate.
Don't feel like you gotta go there and put your credit card information. Like, you can go there for free and just look at everything.
Lots of good resources.
Lots of good things for free, and that's it. So thank you once again.
Thank you, Bruno.
And this was another day of the Outdoor Builder podcast.
Thank you.
Thank you.